Eric, can you discuss your philosophy on water return setup, similar to the way it's done in Japan? You touched on a subject a while back, but I like more detail. Cheers. So yeah, water returns. My ideal pond design, and this is something at the minute I'm really looking at because there's 2 new fish houses due to be built. When I finally got the other one dismantled, and really I've been scratching my head wondering exactly what I want to do with them, pond-wise, size-wise, all the rest of it. But some design concepts I am super clear on, and these are going to be raising ponds, not necessarily massive, but again, I don't need to be because I already get amazing results with like the 1,200 gallon ponds that I've got. But one element for me is the shape of the pond is one that for raising, I'm very fond on, and we're seeing this more and more. You know, it's got Sakai has been a big advocate of it, and then that's filtering down as more and more breeders sort of pay attention to what them guys are doing, and that is the sort of longer, more rectangular shaped pond. So where you're probably talking the width being 50% of the length to create that kind of rectangle. For me, it's that length and that swimming capacity. Because if we look at mud ponds, again, benefits of mud ponds, I'm not just into the fact it's a simple case of, oh, it's soft water, or, oh, it's this, oh, it's that. If we look at the surface area these koi have to swim, and their swimming is just like our exercising, and ultimately good body development is muscle development, and then also getting some good fat on there at the same time. It's that complete and utter balance. So yeah, when they can swim, ultimately they're getting, you know, a chance to really work hard at that. Depth to me is not important. If you obviously the sort of minimum depths you want to be looking at if you're outside and uncovered as well for winter. But if this is an indoor pond, which is how I'm considering it, you know, 3 sort of like a meter up to 1.5 meters, I don't see any need to go beyond that for sort of any size fish. And yeah, having that length for the fish to really swim, really work. But then yeah, the settings of the returns and the current. So I like, again, this is me fish first, which is again part of my whole philosophy, as opposed to pond aesthetics first or anything like that. Is that the sort of tangential return approach, which was ultimately designed not with the fish's best interest, in the interest of creating that sort of vortex emotion to get shit to the bottom drain. What you find is anyway, shit's not really a big problem in most ponds where there's a healthy, you know, sort of a blanket weed's not overgrown or something like that, and there's a decent stocking level in there and good fish movement. So and well positioned bottom drains anyway, based on the size of the pond. And yeah, so I like all of my returns at one end and then a one directional flow system. So that's talking if you've got showers, how the returns come in is really quite irrelevant. Above water, below, whatever you want to do there. Really, always been a fan of a bit of a surface current and getting the agitation from surface returns as well. But all one directional, and that's then giving you basically sort of like a tapered flow. So at any point as the fish are sort of swimming away, it's a little bit more relaxing. So feeding can be done at any point, because ultimately the food will end up at the sort of stiller end. So especially when you've got bigger fish, you don't want big fish or big koi trying to be feeding against heavy flows. It's not ideal for them. They're a much steadier, more graceful feeder. So having a still end of a pond is really ideal for the fish for that purpose. And I've just seen it work really well. And now all the best raising ponds, indoor ponds in Japan, are basically being built with this in mind. And you know, maximizing length to get that as you know, if you can get complete surface area and get a load of width as well, then fantastic, because there's plenty of space to swim around. But if you can't, you're better trying to get the length there. So yeah, that's the way I do it, and that's the way all of the ponds, the raising ponds at Koi Wholesale are set up. It's one directional returns, all in at one end. The aeration as well, I've got that kind of mixed, because aeration can be helpful to stop any potential dead spots. So using that kind of scattered around. What I don't like is when heavy central aeration, so out of the bottom drain, is used on a square pond. So say you've got a size, I don't know, sort of 8 by 8, 10 by 10, something like that, and you've got this huge, you know, dome of air coming out, creating that kind of current motion, which can be quite unsettling for the fish. There's nowhere for him to escape from it. It's excessive. So if you have got that kind of setup, it'd be well better trying to push more air through filtration if you can, i.e. if you've got a Nexus, fluid bed, whatever it is, drive more air that way, because it will be just as effective at getting oxygen into the water and slowing that down in the pond, so it just kind of fizzles up to the top. Or alternatively change it so the air comes in at one end, potentially with your returns as well. So hope that helps with that one. Again, that's each to their own with that, but that for me is the method I see that's worked. And again, the 3.5K ponds I've got are built on that design. I think they're 20 foot long by 8 foot wide, and not massively deep, but they have just, well, you should have all seen the results by now. You know, they produce great results, and I believe that's part of the reason.